Good morning, team. This is TJ. Just wanted to take a minute and come to you this morning to share the second part of the compensation plan training module for the teamwork training module number 1. And this time what we're going to do is focus on the 3 Business Center, okay? And help you understand how we get paid and how USANA actually calculates the checks based on an activated 3 Business Center and growing a 3 Business Center business. Okay, so let's go on and get started. Okay, now in order to get paid on a 3 Business Center, you have to first activate 3 Business Centers. And in order to activate 3 Business Centers, you have to accumulate 400 points of volume through your account. So basically you have to purchase 400 points worth of products through your account. Whether they're for you or for someone else, it really doesn't matter. As long as they're purchased through your account. You can obviously purchase them up front. The great thing about the 3 Business Center activation with the 400 is that it's actually a 3 Business Center for the cost of 2. If you remember, it takes 200 points to activate 1 Business Center. So activating 3 Business Center only requires the double amount of volume, but you get 3 Business Centers instead of 2 here. In order to keep it activated on a monthly basis, every 28 days, you have to purchase 200 points through your account. And again, we get paid weekly. And in order to qualify for a check on each Business Center, would be 125 points on the left and right of each center. Will qualify each center for a check. And then, obviously they calculate the check by multiplying the smaller volume on each Business Center, whichever side that is, and multiply by 20% to calculate the check amount. All right, so let's and see how this works. Okay, so month 1, we got 3 Business Centers here activated. You're growing it. You sponsor some associates and some PCs, and you've got some volume flowing through your business. So this month you've got 600 points worth of volume on the left, 300 points on the volume on the right. Okay, of your number 1, and basically that 600 points on the left is the adding of the 400 points on the left of your number 2 and the 200 points on the right of your number 2. By adding those together equals out to 600 for the left, because everything on the left side of your business, which is all of your Business Center number 2, represents the left side of your Business Center number 1. On the right side, you got 350 points on the right side of your number 1. That's adding 150 points on the left side of your number 3 and 200 on the right side of your number 3. If you add those two together, then they make up the 350 points. So everything under your number 3 Business Center, left and right, added together makes up the right side of your number 3. Okay, so let's calculate the checks here. Okay, let's see if which one of these Business Centers qualifies for a check and then calculating it. Okay, let's take Business Center number 1, 600 left, 350 right? The first thing we have to do, obviously, is we have to see if they qualify using the 125 points left and right. So basically the left side is equal to or greater than 125. The right side is equal to greater than 125. Okay, so basically then you multiply the smaller of the two sides, which in this case is the 350. You take the 350, multiply it by 20%, and that comes out to 70 commission volume points, or $70 in the U.S. Okay, $70 in the U.S. for number 1. Now let's look at number 2. Number 2 left is 400 right here and 200 on the right side here, right? Okay, let's see if they qualify. So 400 is greater than or equal to 125. 200 is greater than or equal to 125. The smaller of the two sides is 200. So you got 200 times 20%, which is 40 commission volume points, or $40 in the U.S. So number 2 Business Center pays you $40. Now let's take a look at number 3. You got 150 points right here on the left of number 3, 200 on the right. So let's see if they qualify here. 150 is equal to or greater than 125. 200 points is equal to or greater than 125. So number 3 qualifies for a check. Smaller of the two sides here is 150. So you take 150 times 20%. And that gives you 30 commission volume points, or $30 in the U.S. Just remember, guys, these commission volume points is based on the currency of the country that you're doing business in. So if you're in the U.S., those commission volume points equals dollars. In Japan, it's equal yens. In Mexico, it's equal pesos. in Great Britain, pounds, etc. Okay, so for your number 3 business center, we got paid 30 commission volume points. Now, if you notice that if you add number 2 and number 3, it comes out to 70 commission volume points, and if you add that to number 1, it comes out to 140. So essentially, for the same amount of work, you're actually getting paid double by having a 3 business center. Okay, so if you had all this business just under your number 1 business center here, then it would just pay you 70 commission volume points, right? Okay, but because you have your number 2 and number 3, and you kind of divided the business up a little bit differently here between 4 legs, now you get paid an additional 70 for double for $140. $140. That's pretty awesome. Okay, all right. Okay, number 1 business center had 1,100 sales volume points this week, 2,000 on the right side this week. Okay, number 2 business center had 400 on the left this week, 700 right this week. If you add those two together, that equals out to the 1,100, which represents the left side of your number 1. The left side of your number 3 is 1,300. The right side of your number 3 is 700. If you add those two together, they represent the right side of your number 1, which is 2,000. Okay, so let's calculate, see if they qualify, and calculate the checks here. 125 SVP, 125 SVP here. Okay, all right. So now, if we do 1, business center number 1, 1,100 is greater to or equal to 125. 2,000 is greater than or equal to 125. So yes, number 1 qualifies for a check. Smaller of the two sides is 1,100. So you take that 1,100 times 20%, and that gives you 220 commission volume points, $220 in the U.S. So that's $220 in the U.S. Now, 1,100 points is what you were paid on. So if you subtract 1,100 from that 1,100, that leaves 0 carryover for business center number 1 going into next week. Subtract that same 1,100 from the 2,000 right here, and that leaves 900 sales volume points, going into carrying over till next week. Okay, so now let's calculate the checks for number 2. Number 2, okay, 400 is greater than or equal to 125. 700 is greater than or equal to 125. So pick the smaller of the two sides, 400. So that's 400 times 20%, and that gives you 80 commission volume points, or $80, right? Okay, so in this case, you were paid on 400 points worth of volume right here. So subtract 400 from this 400 right here, and that leaves 0 carryover for number 2 on the left side. And subtract that same 400 from the 700 right here, and that leaves 300 carryover on the right side of your number 3 going into next week. All right, let's calculate number 3 here. Business center number 3, 1,300 is greater than or equal to 125. 700 is greater than or equal to 125. So it does qualify for a check. Now pick the smaller of the two sides, which is 700. So you take 700, multiply that by 20%, and that gives you 140 commission volume points. So you get paid $140, okay, here in the U.S. Now, you got paid on 700 points with the volume on your number 3. So subtract that from this 700 right here, and that leaves 0 carryover for your number 3, right? Okay, 700 from this 1,300 leaves 600 carryover on the left of your number 3. Okay, so you got paid a total of 440 commission volume points, or $440 in the U.S. That's not bad. Plus all that volume that carries over. So Monday, you start with all that carryover volume, add the new volume for the week, and then get paid Friday for the total volume for the week. Okay, let's the next example, which is the 3 business center here. Okay, now we're going to take the carryover from the previous week, okay, to do this. So basically what we had was I believe it was 0 carryover on the left side of your number 1, and it was 300 on the right side of your number 3, and then 0 on the left side of your number 1. On your right side, it was 900 on the right side of your number 1, 600 on the left side of your number 1, and 0 on the right side of your number 3, right? Okay, so that was the carryover from the previous week. So now we have the new volume for the week, which is 2,000 left, 2,300 right for number 1, 1,200 left, and 800 right for number 2, 1,000 left, and 1,300 right for number 3. If you notice, if you add, the 1,200 plus the 800, that gives you total new volume of 2,000 for the week here, right? Okay, and if you add 1,000 plus the 1,300, that gives you the 2,300 points of new volume for the week. Okay, so now, okay, so let's see if we qualify for checks here. 125 sales volume points, 125 sales volume points, the qualifier, right? Okay, let's take business center number 1 right here. Okay, so that's a basis of total volume of let's say 2,000 on the left side, right here. So that's 2,000 because you want to add 0 plus the 2,000, that gives you 2,000 total volume. On the right side, you got 900 plus the 2,300 here. That gives you 3,200 points of volume for the right side for total volume, right? 2,000 is greater than or equal to 125. 3,200 is greater than or equal to 125. So number 1 qualifies for a check. 2,000 is the smaller amount. Okay, so you take 2,000 times 20%, and that gives you 400 commission volume points, or $400. Okay, so number 1 business center pays you 400. Okay, what's the carryover? You got paid on 2,000 points. So if you subtract 2,000 from the left side, which is 2,000, that gives you 0 carryover for number 1 on the left, right? If you subtract that same 2,000 from that 3,200 on the right, okay, so then that gives you 1,200 points of carryover on your right. Does that make sense? Okay, awesome. Let's go to number 2. 1,200 left, 800 right. 1,200 is greater than or equal to 125. 800 is greater than or equal to 125, right? So then that gives you a check on this side. So 800 is the smaller amount. So 800 times 20%, and that gives you 160 commission volume points, or $160 right here, okay? So now the carryover, let's see what's left. So 800 points is what you got paid on. So 800 subtracted from the right side leaves 0 carryover on the right of your number 2. 800 subtracted from 1,200 would be 400 carryover on your number 3. Number 2 left, okay? So now let's go to number 3 here. 1,000 is greater than or equal to 125. 1,300 is greater than or equal to 125, right? That qualifies for a check. So it's $1,000, 1,000 points times 20%, which gives you basically 200 commission volume points on the right, on your number 3. So you get paid 200 here, and let's see what the carryover here is. Since you got paid on 1,000, subtract that from 1,000 right here, and that leaves 0 carryover on the left side of your number 3. 1,000 subtracted from 1,300, that leaves 300 points of carryover on your number 3 right, Number 3 right. So basically, you got 300 points of carryover here for your number 3 right. Okay, so total payment for the week is $360. $360, right? And plus the 400 on your number 1 equals out to $760 total for the week on your all of your business centers. And then you got all the carryovers, and you start next week with that. Okay, I hope this helps, guys. But this is some fun stuff, when you start calculating checks, because that's what we got in this business for. So have fun with this, and we got more training modules to come. So hope you guys have a great day today. All right, take care, and we'll talk to you soon.